So in physics GCSE, we talk about energy as being stored in different ways. So we have energy stores and we have systems. So a system is just all of the objects that are in the place that we're talking about. So for example, if we were talking about, we're going to talk about a car crashing into a tree. That is the system. The car is part of the system. The tree is part of the system. The surroundings are part of the system that we're talking about. And within that system, there is energy. And that energy is stored in different places. Now, you need to be aware of 8 places where that could be stored. So let's organise these and sort them into those places. And then let's talk about how energy moves between these stores. So this here, food that we eat and fuel that we put into our car, that kind of thing, that is a chemical store. I've got a hot coffee here, a thermometer and a sun. That is to represent thermal. Got a spring and an elastic band here. That represents elastic potential. So things that are elastic, spring can be pulled out. Magnet, so that one's quite obvious. Magnetic. We've got nuclear as well, so energy can be stored in a nuclear store. We've got this one, this famous picture of Newton with an apple falling on his head. So this is gravitational potential. So whenever you lift something up, it's got potential to fall back down due to the force of gravity. Kinetic. So kinetic is movement. And then we've got this one here as well. This is a positive. I don't think you can see that so well. So that is a positive and that is a negative. So this is a force of attraction. This is an electrostatic. Energy can be stored in this store that is between a positive and a negative. So we've got these places that there could be energy. And what you need to be able to do in your exam is talk about energy moving from these stores, because for anything to happen, energy has to transfer from one store to another. So in any system, any kind of movement is because energy is transferring or anything happening within that system. So let's explain that in terms of thinking about a car crashing into a tree. So I'm going to draw this for you, probably not all that well, but here is my tree and here is my car. Oh dear. Like this. There's the wheels, windows. So drawing doesn't really matter too much, but let's just, this is the crash. So we have a car. So in the moments before this crash, this car will have had kinetic energy. And the way that I think about this is more like a bucket, really. So if you imagine before the crash, this car had 8 different buckets, all of different types of energy, but in its kinetic, it had a lot of energy because this car is moving. So it's movement energy. That store is quite full. But what happens when that car crashes into this tree, that car is going to stop moving. So actually its kinetic energy is then going to reduce. So the energy in its kinetic store is going to reduce. Now we know that we cannot create or destroy energy. So we can't create new energy and we can't destroy energy. It has to move from one store to another or dissipate into the surroundings. So here, this kinetic energy is being reduced because the car is going from moving to stopped, but that kinetic energy is going to go somewhere. So when that car hits the tree is going to move a bit. So the tree, prior to the car hitting it might not be moving, or it might be moving just a little bit, maybe in the wind or whatever. It might have a little bit of kinetic. So if this was the kinetic store of the tree, but when that car hits it and the tree moves, the kinetic store is going to move up. And actually this area around the crash site, that's going to start feeling quite warm as well. So in fact, some of this kinetic energy might start to fill the thermal store of the tree and the thermal store of the car. We might, this area of the car is going to crumple. So there might be some elastic potential energy. That might be moving up there. So you can see that when we have a circumstance, we need to talk about the energy being reduced in one store and increasing in other stores. And overall, that energy is going to balance. And if it's, we might have lost some energy as sound, and that's the vibration of particles. So there's kinetic energy in here. We might have so your surroundings, the air around this crash site might also heat up a bit. So you might have some going to the thermal store here. So it's about answering exam questions to illustrate the stores that go down and the stores that go up when we're talking about different energy stores, bearing in mind that we cannot create or destroy energy, and we need to focus on talking about these 8 stores that we talked about earlier. So we've got our chemical, thermal, kinetic even, elastic potential, electrostatic, gravitational potential, nuclear and magnetic. That's moved a little there. Okay, let's get an exam question up in the next video, I think, for this.